What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another news video, and the weekend just don't stop for us, as there's still a ton of news to report in the wrestling world. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at your latest wrestling news, including The Fiend's first loss, a WWE legend has been hospitalized, the Young Bucks comments on NXT, Big Cass's big wrestling announcement, Vinnie Mac's new darling, and our biggest story of today, Goldberg fighting with Dolph Ziggler in a restaurant in Vegas. Let's get into the first story, did The Fiend just lose to Seth Rollins? Now, in case you haven't heard, The Fiend met Seth Rollins at a recent WWE live event, ending in a finish that has people wondering if the WWE has lost its mind. Given the huge push Bray Wyatt's diabolical alter ego has received, fans expected to see The Fiend defeat Universal Champion Seth Rollins at the upcoming Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Nonetheless, The Fiend lost to Seth Rollins at a recent house show in Calgary. Well, kinda sorta. The match saw a Firefly Funhouse segment where Ramblin' Rabbit warned Seth Rollins The Fiend was coming for him, only for Bray Wyatt to push the rabbit out of the way. The match between Rollins wasn't long and ended in a disqualification win for Rollins when The Fiend applied the mandible claw and refused to release it while he had the Beast Slayer in the corner. While fans are losing their minds that Bray Wyatt technically lost this bout, his first ever loss since the re-emergence of his new character, this disqualification loss shouldn't be seen as more than a way for both men to warm up in front of a live audience. Although The Fiend is undoubtedly one of the WWE's biggest stars in years, there's already talk that he's being overexposed with the WWE, throwing him into the main event far too soon. Even worse, the WWE is hurting Raw's top babyface Seth Rollins, a star WWE has struggled to keep popular with the WWE Universe by pitting him against an anti-hero the fans are clearly behind. Rollins' cowardly reaction to The Fiend on Raw only furthered Rollins' woes. Despite what happened at the house show, it's unlikely The Fiend will lose to Rollins at Hell in a Cell, but don't rule out a return by Finn Balor, who The Fiend destroyed at SummerSlam, looking to avenge himself on Wyatt. Next up, a little bit of sad news, as WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan has been hospitalized. The former Royal Rumble winner was recently hospitalized due to an undisclosed medical issue. Duggan was scheduled to appear at the Legends of Wrestling convention in New Jersey, but had to pull out. We'll certainly let you know of any updates. Our next story, the Young Bucks' comments on NXT. Following Kenny Omega's insulting comments about NXT, fans were curious what remarks might be coming from AEW's roster, particularly wrestlers such as Omega, who are also AEW management. Recently, Alex McCarthy of TalkSport and Pro Wrestle Show tweeted he'd talked to the Young Bucks and had this to say about NXT. Nick spoke first and said, "It was a fun show, but 10 weeks from now, those fans might get tired. It happened with Impact, doing a show from the same studio." Matt Jackson then said, "I'm rooting for them. I want them to have a good show. Ours is just gonna be better." While some saw Omega's comments as typical wrestling trash talk, there were others who took offense at Omega disparaging the hard work of NXT's performers. The Bucks' comments are much more toned down, and an example of how both the WWE and AEW should let their product do the majority of their boasting. Our next story looks at Big Cass taking a break from wrestling. Big Cass has had his difficulties with personal demons, going through periods of sobriety, followed by setbacks, such as the one he recently had when he was kicked out of a WrestlePro show in New Jersey for unprofessional conduct and taken away in an ambulance. Big Cass, real name William Patrick Morrissey III, issued the following statement via Instagram through Enzo Amore. "I have been very honest with my past struggles, and it has been an ongoing battle. On Saturday night, I obviously let my demons get the better of me, and I ruined an important night for a really great guy in an unfortunate series of events. I've worked incredibly hard to get where I am, and even harder to overcome my ongoing battle with depression, but I will work my absolute hardest to right the wrongs of Saturday night and apologize to Kevin Matthews, Pat Buck, Joey Janela, the entire WrestlePro locker room, and all parties involved from the bottom of my heart. I'm getting help from my family and friends as we speak. I will be getting professional help in the near future, and ask all to please respect my privacy in the meantime. When and if I re-emerge as a public figure, it will be in good faith, and I hope to inspire those who struggle with the same mental health issues that I do to seek help they need. If Tyson Fury can do it, so can I. Remember, I ain't dead yet. and neither are you. Peace and love, William Patrick Morrissey III. During an episode on Busted Open Radio, Cass's former tag team partner Enzo Amore commented on his friend's situation. "I've got a friend for life in Big Cass. When you've seen someone at their lowest and their highest, there's a bond there. He is seeking help, and that to me is the number one thing that needs to happen. I know there was an incident that occurred most recently, and it was because he didn't reach out to somebody. Depression is a serious battle, and people who are fighting it, just like me and you, and some are hiding it. You can act like everything is fine and alright, but I need people to know that Big Cass is in the same situation. He's a big guy, a tough guy, but he's vulnerable right now. He wants the world to know that if I can struggle with it then, it's okay for you to do so too. The number one thing you need to do when battling depression and anxiety is to be there for one another, because the world can bring you down, and I refuse to let it take me down and to take down my tag team partner." When Big Cass wakes up in the morning and he's questioning why he's alive, that's something I can't relate to, but I have to understand. It's encouraging to see the wrestling community rallying once again to help a brother in need. Next up, WWE wrestlers now employees in California. As Wrestlelamia discussed recently, California was in the process of passing a law that would classify WWE superstars as employees rather than independent contractors. This is so that the WWE can avoid certain obligations such as workers' compensation. The law was passed, which means that the WWE is facing a complex situation even if they choose not to operate in California. Recently, Bodyslam.net spoke with attorney Eric D. Anderson for clarification on the law's impact on the WWE. When asked if they would be exempt from the law, Anderson answered, "Well, they won't be exempt under the law as it stands now. What they may do is seek to fall under an exemption, like with a loan-out company. That is where the talent owns a production company and the WWE contracts with the production company and not the talent. The talent is then an employee of the production company, but this could get convoluted and they may want to avoid that." As noted in the interview, California's AB5 law was designed to address companies such as Uber and Lyft, which lawmakers claim treat drivers as independent contractors when they should be classified as employees. A similar argument has been made about the WWE for years due to the many restrictions the WWE puts on wrestlers, yet denies them the rights expected for employees such as workers' compensation. The WWE has a lot to lose if they are forced to treat wrestlers as employees, so a legal challenge should be expected. Next up, new WWE television series. The WWE recently applied for a trademark for The Bump, reportedly a show about professional wrestling, the production and exhibition of professional wrestling events rendered live and through broadcast media, including television, and distributed via various platforms across multiple forms of transmission media, providing wrestling news and information through the broadcast media. Next up, Ricochet, You Are Not the Father. The ongoing comedy/drama involving the identity of Maria Kanellis' baby continues on Raw, with the WWE tagging daytime TV host Maury Povich, and Povich tweeting, "I've got 2 words for you, paternity test." Povich is best known for his daytime Maury show, which often features segments involving paternity tests where Povich will reveal you are the father or you are not the father. Next up, Vince loves Chad. While Chad Gable didn't win this year's King of the Ring tournament, Vince McMahon reportedly sees his journey to the finals as a push of sorts, and Vinnie Mac is high on Gable as a rising star. Dave Meltzer recently observed Vince is contemplating a push for the star, best known for his run in the tag team American Alpha with Jason Jordan. And the biggest news for today, Ziggler and Goldberg get into a scrap in Vegas. A video has surfaced from Las Vegas showing Dolph Ziggler and Bill Goldberg nearly coming to blows. Recall Goldberg squashed Lesnar at SummerSlam with the program seemingly over. However, could there be legitimate heat between the two men? According to a story at Blast.com, the melee almost went down last week while the two superstars were both dining at the Andiamo Italian Steakhouse located inside the D Casino Hotel in downtown Las Vegas. We're told Goldberg was at Andiamo with a group of friends, including MMA fighter Roy Big Country Nelson. At the same time Goldberg was there, legendary adult star Kendra Lust was celebrating a birthday at the same restaurant, and she happened to have Goldberg's nemesis WWE star Dolph Ziggler at her table. Goldberg uploaded the video to Instagram with the following message: "What happens in Vegas obviously doesn't stay in Vegas. Angry face emoji. My usual stop at Andiamo to see Richard Wilk and Roy Nelson came with an unexpected surprise. Looks like heel Ziggler and I don't see eye to eye. Unfortunately for him, I wasn't still hungry, and UFC's Eric Anders was there to help him get away. Do you think this was just a publicity stunt or a legitimate argument?" Yeah, they looked heated, but you can see the two people who are prying them apart are visibly laughing. Also, Goldberg doesn't seem to be holding back so much, as he's clearly not using all his strength to get to Ziggler. What do you guys think? Real or fake? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.